show us. That doesn't really work, does it? Have you tried? Oh, that's good. Oh, fantastic. Oh, fantastic. Better. So much better. What a fantastic, fantastic tune. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. They have everything for young men to enjoy. You can hang out with all the boys. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. It's fun to stay at the YMCA. Young man, there's no need to feel down. Young man, pick yourself off the ground. I've been Donald Trump. Thank you and good night.
And what size?
This one's from Jeremy in Wisconsin. And it says, Tuffy brand coffee is the best coffee in the world. Thanks for the grift.
Anyway, I'm going to find out who this quartering character is. And when I do, he's going to get a bit of the old ice troll treatment.
Went from loathing Brie Larson to being the unofficial #1 fan site for Brie Larson.
How about a handshake? You're going to give me your jacket, your helmet, and your motorcycle, and in return, I'm going to let you keep your hand.
What is going on, everybody? I am back at it again. Hope you're all doing well. Got all my chores done. Got a few more stories I want to talk about. Then I've got to clean Huck's ears, get him all cleaned up, and start packing some of these cookbook orders. It's going to be a long weekend. How are you guys all doing? Sperm bank was good. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. Sperm bank was good. They're paying $25 per, I think, now for Christmas. Put the Indian sing along in my intro. I think that guy's like a legitimate artist. He'd probably copyright it. It's my guess. Vindaloo Singh. I'm guessing. Let's see this one. Doug, I sent my number to the contact us on your website. I don't even know where that email goes, to be totally honest with you. Maybe just email me thequartering@gmail.com. if you want. This guy?
Just hear those sleigh bells jingling a ring a ting a ting a ling a too. Ring a ling a ling a ding dong. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with a Jew. Ring a ling a ding a ding dong. Outside the snow is falling and friends are calling you home. Ring a ling a ling a ding. Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with a Jew. Ring a ling a ling a ding dong ding. Ring a ling a ling a ding dong ding. Ring a ling a ling a ding dong ding. Ring a ling a ling a ding dong ding. Laga laga, laga laga, yeah. Our cheeks are.
It is getting to be. My Christmas tree is here. My Christmas tree is here. I was gonna do it during stream, but probably no time today. But over the weekend we'll do another one. Dooby dooby doo doo dooby 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 doo doo dooby dooby doo. Regime change in Venezuela soon. Yep, that's happening. They're just gonna do that one quietly too. Like there's nobody's gonna talk about it. It's just gonna happen. Be one of those things, that just happens. Gmail. I know I have to get everything moved over to Proton tomorrow. I still use those for my business email address. All right, Doug, I got you. Do you want me to call you on stream? Okay. Hasn't there been one behind you all year? A Christmas tree? Well, this guy I just put up. But the other little Christmas tree I put up, but I don't think I have. Like, I'm going to put it in this corner here, like right back here. I'll go up there. That's why everything's kind of off-centered right now. Yeah, rifle season. Be careful out there. Hunting starts. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Ling-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-dong-ding. All right. Let's see here. Couple of stories and stories. Okay. My wife and I want to put a deposit down for a Huck Pup. If you email me, I can make that happen. They won't be ready till, like May or June to go home. May, I think. They won't go home till they're 12 weeks. Thanks, Life Once Lived. Appreciate you. Ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-dong-ding. Bing-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-dong-ding. Dooby-dooby-doo. Ding-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding-dong-ding. All right, let's get after a couple stories. Doug has emailed to say the great Doug has said that he is serious, but we'll talk to him after the show. Unless he wants me to call him now. Let's see. Still enjoy. Get that. All right, let's get after this. So I got to do some segments for Saturday. The Saturday. You look at the hotels outside of Phoenix. I live in East Mesa. We're only 30 minutes from downtown. Yeah, here's the problem. I looked at Airbnbs, and there are Airbnbs like 30 minutes outside of Phoenix, except we have to lug all of our recording equipment there and back every single day because there's no like secure place to keep it. Plus, Hannah Claire will have to bring her 4-month-old baby with her. And so, like, her husband will have to come and then, watch the baby. And then she's nervous about being so far away from the baby, which I understand. Am I covering the Mamdani Trump meeting? Sure. Is it streaming? The quartering at Gmail is an email where you can reach me. If I would have been able to book the hotel much earlier, the hotels wouldn't have been as bad. Or if, like, everyone was single, we could share hotel rooms. Or if my co-hosts weren't female. Like, Luke and I will share a hotel room. That's not a problem. But it's not like I can share a hotel room with Melanie or Hannah Claire and her baby. Call Doug, we can wait. No. Should I? Doug, you let me know if you want me to call you during the show. But I do have some segments to do too. So, okay. Do not redeem it. I almost have the site set up too. Almost. Just trying to get... I did add the whale tier. And then I think it works. Should work. Yep. 15, 30, 100, 5,000. Yep. So that, if somebody wants to test it, let me know. Leave the baby at home. It'll be fine for a few days. That's what I try to say. I said, leave the baby in the car. We're going to talk more about the Amfest thing in a few minutes, but if somebody wants to test it, let me know. Could have missed like 30 moments. Dig it. I'll be right back. Oh, 30 minutes. Got it. Okay, press conference. AP has it live on YouTube. Let me look here. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know why he's even paying this guy any mind. All right, I've got it. I've got it queued up and ready. Jeremy is a Pajit. Yeah. Send my crew to Amfest, sir. You are fucking. No, you are fucking. No, you are fucking. Do not redeem it. Do not redeem it. All right. I wanted to cover the Kimmel's continued meltdown because I think that there's a little bit of a story. There's a little bit of a story behind why he's ramping up his attacks on Trump now that Trump has decided, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and release the files. The first and foremost is obviously his show is dying. Without Trump, without an active Trump feud, Jimmy Kimmel has no real viewership. The problem is, and as I said when I covered this the other day, it's like, I wish Trump wouldn't even acknowledge him because it just gives him material and it gives him, stuff to talk about. It's like, don't acknowledge the troll. Well, now Jimmy Kimmel ramped up a wild insult after Trump's quiet piggy comment. I saw some people saying the reporter's name was Peggy. I don't know if that's actually true or if he said piggy because like they're all squealing at him. I don't really know. But this is a new desperate move from Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel lobs vile insult, Trump insult, back at president as feud between the pair escalates. I'll go when you go, he says. Jimmy Kimmel used his opening monologue to lob insults at President Trump as their feud reached new heights. Kimmel, 58, spent the first 12 minutes of his show digging in on his arch nemesis, who had previously tried to get him kicked off the air. Now, I don't think Trump is actually earnestly trying to get Kimmel off the air. You know, like I don't think he actually you know, I don't think I think he's like, that's just doing Trump things. But I think this is all about the Epstein stuff coming out. I think he's worried. I think he's worried that, you know, his good friend and his personal chef, you know, was really is worried that he might be connected to something. I would like to welcome our viewers watching from around the country, all you around the world, he said on Thursday's episode. There aren't any. A special hello, though, to those of you who are watching from the White House. We know you are. Nearly 15 minutes after Kimmel's show ended the previous night, Trump took to Truth Social to write, "Why does ABC fake news Jimmy Kimmel, a man with no talent and very poor television ratings, still on the air? Get the bum off the air." Now, I'll tell you this, again, there's a lot of, like, if Trump is talking about this, then people aren't talking about other stuff. You know, people aren't talking about, so he kind of like controls the media narrative in a lot of ways. Kimmel says that it was, quote, nice that the Republican watches us live. Well, speaking of watching things live, I would recommend, if, you know, you want to watch whatever you want to watch and not let people know, there's a great VPN that has supported the channel for a long time. Here's a quick word from them that you guys don't have to hear. It's also sweet that in the middle of the biggest sex scandal in the history of the American presidency, he takes his precious time on the toilet to post about our show. Again, another lie. This is like the crazy thing with, you know, Kimmel and his alternate reality that he likes to spin. It's because obviously Trump is not ensnared in anything. Trump is not ensnared in, and he's not in the files. Like his email, his name appears in them with Jeffrey trying to blackmail him, but he doesn't appear in the files anywhere. Kimmel's referring to, by the way, I want to point out, the only people who have been negatively called out here is a Democrat Harvard professor who goes by the name Larry Summers, a Democrat Congress member, Stacy, whatever her stupid name is, who was live texting with Jeffrey after he was convicted of his first crime, and Democrat Hakeem Jeffries after Jeffrey was convicted, asking him for money. That's 3 Democrats to no Republicans. The president even called a Bloomberg reporter Piggy after she asked him about the files, another moment Kimmel brought up. "If I may borrow a phrase from you, quiet, Piggy," Kimmel told Trump. "He never stops. I have honestly lost count on how many times the president has demanded I be pulled off the air. I mean, talk about a snowflake. The guy, every 5 weeks, he flips out and wants to be fired." Well, I mean, again, I do admit I wish that, you know, Kimmel would just not talk about it, but that's neither here nor there. It's disturbing, you know, and we've done this before. You tried to get me fired in September, even though that's 100% untrue. Sinclair Media and the other 2 different affiliates didn't like his comments about Charlie Kirk, and that's why they pulled him. It had nothing to do with Trump. It had nothing to do with Brendan Carr. But again, Jimmy Kimmel is not interested in the truth. And I really believe he's panicking beyond all, like, I bet you he's up late. I bet you he's worried. I bet you he's seriously concerned about what is going to come out in these emails. It didn't work, Mr. President. I admire your tenacity. If you're watching tonight, which I presume you are, how about this? I'll go when you go. Well, actually, Jimmy Kimmel's contract is up in just 4 months. Now, if he gets a renewal, I would be shocked. But there might also be a thing where Kimmel actually takes like a huge pay cut just to stay on air to own Drumpf. Like I could legitimately see that. Like he doesn't want the humiliation of getting fired. He went on to say that Trump was explosively unstable and a disaster. Not even former Vice President Dick Cheney, who's known for being majorly conservative, did not vote for him. Good. I don't want Dick Cheney's vote. Like I don't want Dick Cheney's vote, and I don't want Mike Pence's vote. Cheney's funeral was yesterday. Trump was reportedly not invited, announced in early September that he would be voting for Kamala Harris. Ooh. So in his dying minutes, he decided, hey, I'm going to obsess over Donald Trump. Like, who's winning there? Who's really winning? Trump sends a tweet, and this guy sends his whole show around it. So who's really winning? That's it. You don't need to know anything else. What the garden hose full of diarrhea this president has been, Kimmel said. Again, real classy. He's worried, he's offended that Trump called somebody a piggy, but he's talking about fire hoses of diarrhea. Trump previously had Kimmel show canceled at the 11th hour. That's not true. But after swift backlash, ABC brought back the much-loved host. That's just not true. Dailymail.co.uk is simply printing a lie. Trump had nothing to do with him being pulled off air. If that were true, he'd be off air a million times already. Like that's just the reality of it. He'd be off the air all the time. He'd been off the air in 2016 to 2020. Since then, the president has gone on to call for him to be taken off the air and hurling insults at the comedian. I mean, this is the level of critique we get from Jimmy Kimmel.
A few weeks ago, there were reports that the reason Trump wanted to send the National Guard into Portland is because he saw Fox footage of unrest from 2020, and he thought it was happening.
That's not true. We all saw, again, a lie. We all saw what was happening there. We all saw it live, the riots, the rock throwing, the fireworks throwing, the arrests, the journalists getting attacked, the journalists getting arrested. That was all happening in real time.
In real time, and he still might think that's happening in real time. Because in an interview with NBC, he said that when the governor of Oregon informed them there was no security threat in her state, he said, well, wait a minute, am I watching things on television that are different from what's happening? Yes, dum-dum, you are.
No, dum-dum, he wasn't. Like, this is such a vile lie. So, like, I get it, but where's the joke? Like, he's lying about Antifa in Portland. We know that's true. He lied. The Daily Mail is lying about why Jimmy Kimmel's show was pulled off the air. It was not pulled off the air by Trump. It just wasn't. So is this guy and so he's really not in any position to complain about the president. Now, here he has a 12, look at the 3 million views. You know, it's crazy. More people watched his monologue on YouTube than watch his entire show on TV. You know, I love how aggressive Jimmy Kimmel's being, to be honest. Like, the left thinks this is a good thing, but the truth is he's going to step in it. He's going to make a mistake, and he's going to get socked with another defamation lawsuit, and it's going to be just like 60 Minutes, where the network and Disney just doesn't want any part of it. I think he's totally unhinged because there's going to be something in the Jeffrey files that connects Jimmy Kimmel. He's setting it up, I think, so that he can be, well, Trump faked that. I wasn't really in the files. Trump did that, because look how unhinged Trump is. This guy's a clown, and he's spiraling out of control, and you just love to see it. Let's go to the Mamdani thing. By the way, I saw you, Zane Dog, for $100 on Rumble. Love the show, love the coffee. Amfest idea, sign me up. Well, you have to back on the website for that. So if you want to charge it back, or if you want to cancel that on Rumble, go ahead. Or I guess just email me separately, and I'll try to like move it over. I'll figure it out.
% less than last year, so that's good for New York, good for everybody. But I just want to congratulate. I think you're going to have hopefully a really great mayor. The better he does, the happier I am. I will say there's no difference in party. There's no difference in anything. And we're going to be helping him to make everybody's dream come true, having a strong and very safe New York. And congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr.
Oh, Trump.
Please.
I appreciated the meeting with the president, and as he said, it was a productive meeting focused on a place of shared admiration and love, which is New York City. and the need to deliver affordability to New Yorkers, the 8.5 million people who call our city their home, who are struggling to afford life in the most expensive city in the United States of America. We spoke about rent, we spoke about groceries, we spoke about utilities, we spoke about the different ways in which people are being pushed out, and I appreciated the time with the president, I appreciated the conversation, I look forward to
Wow,
working together.
this is very different talk than a guy that was like, ooh, I'm going to own Trump. Seems like Trump brought him to heel to me.
Deliver that affordability for New Yorkers.
Thank you very much. Any questions, please?
President Trump, Stephen Nelson from the New York Post. I've got a question for you and then also one for Mayor-elect.
Sure.
Can you guys hear it okay?
For you, you referred to Mr. Meltdown as a communist. Can you describe why you feel that way? And also, will you do
his own
anything
words
to stop him from arresting Prime Minister Netanyahu if he visits New York?
Well, we didn't discuss your second part of the question, and on your first part, I mean, he's got views that are a little out there, but who knows? I mean, we're going to see what works, or he's going to change also. We all change. I changed a lot. From when I first came to office. It's now quite a while ago. It's quite a while. My first term was great. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We're doing even better now. We're doing much better now than we did even the first term. And I can tell you some of my views have changed. And we had discussions on some things. I'm not going to discuss what they were, but that I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he's going to be. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually.
Oh, really?
And some very liberal people. He won't surprise them because they already like him.
And Mr. Meltdown,
I don't think so.
It sounds like you had a productive discussion, but just days ago you referred to President Trump as a despot who betrayed the country.
Oh, he's in the room with him now. Let's see if he's got that same energy.
Having a fascist agenda. Are you planning to retract any of these remarks in order to improve your relationship?
I think both President Trump and I, we are very clear about our positions and our views, and what I really appreciate about the president is that the meeting that we had focused not on places of disagreement, which there are many, and also focused on the shared purpose that we have in serving New Yorkers.
Where's all that
and frankly,
energy?
that is something that could transform the lives of the 8.5 million people who are currently struggling under a cost of living crisis, with 1 in 4 living in poverty. And the meeting came back again and again to what it could look like to lift those New Yorkers out of struggle and start to deliver them a city that they could do more than just struggle to afford it, but actually start to live in it.
And I've been called much worse than a despot, so it's not that insulting.
Look at Trump. What's going on here?
Maybe I think he'll change his mind after we get to working together. Yes, please.
Mr. President, Anthony Rashad from MTV Lebanon.
Good.
I would like to ask you a question about the Middle East regarding you said that Hezbollah in Lebanon is not in a good position. And Lebanon now is the final unresolved after Gaza and Syria. Given your assessment, like what do you say for the Lebanese today? It's the independent state in Lebanon. And what is your next move to push toward disarmament?
Sure. Well, we are pushing for total disarmament of Hamas and, frankly, everybody else. And we actually have peace in the Middle East. As you know, the King of Saudi Arabia just left yesterday. We had some great meetings, and he's made a contribution toward the United States of more than $1 trillion. We have now over $20 trillion coming in. No country has ever had anything like that, not even close. If you go to 2 trillion or 1 trillion, it's a lot. We have 20 or 21 trillion dollars. I think that Hezbollah has been a problem in Lebanon.
Yeah, Omega, I agree that. Downey sounds like a whipped dog, but their narrative will be that Trump got whipped. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Problem. We're working with Lebanon. We're working with everybody in the Middle East. That's another thing I think we have in common. We want to see peace in the Middle East, and we actually have now, for the first time, peace in the Middle East after 3,000 years. And now we're going to refine it, and I think you're going to see some very positive things happen.
There is a potential to invite the Lebanese president.
Oh, sure. Oh, I would do that, absolutely. And if the mayor would like to be here for that meeting, because I know he feels very strongly. I think you feel very, very strongly about peace in the Middle East. I think
we desperately want it, and that's something that I shared with the president, that when I spoke to New Yorkers who had voted for the president last November on Hillside Avenue and Fordham Road, I asked them why. I heard again and again 2 major reasons. One was that they wanted an end to forever wars. They wanted an end to the taxpayer dollars we had funding violations of human rights, and they wanted to address the cost of living crisis. And I appreciated the chance to discuss both of those things.
He said a lot of my voters actually voted for him, and I'm okay with that. I'll do that. I'll sign it. Give it to me. I'll sign it in a minute. That's pretty good.
Mr. President,
please.
you threatened to send federal troops to New York City. You both have differences when it comes to ICE agents in New York City. Mr. Meltdown, you called ICE a rogue government entity. I wonder how you reconcile your differences on both of those issues.
Well, I think we're going to work them out, and I think that if we have known murderers and known drug dealers and some very bad people, we want to get them out. And the mayor wants to have peace. We discussed this at great length, actually, maybe more than anything else. He wants to have a safe New York. Ultimately, a safe New York is going to be a great New York. If it's not safe, no matter how well we do with pricing and with anything else, we can talk about anything you want. If you don't have safe streets, it's not going to be a success. So we're going to work together. We're going to make sure that if there are horrible people there, we want to get them out. I think he wants to get them out, maybe more than I do. So we'll work together. We discussed it.
He wants to bring more in.
At great length. Yes, please.
Two questions, if I may. One for you, Mr. President, from BBC in a second. But first of all, for the mayor-elect. You're both from different parts of the political spectrum. You're both populists, though. I just want to extent the president's campaign style, his techniques, his social media use inspired any part of your campaign?
Well, I actually told the president that, so much of the focus of our campaign has been on the cost of living crisis. And when we asked those New Yorkers who had voted for the president, when we saw an increase in his numbers in New York City, that came back to the same issue: cost of living, cost of living, cost of living. And they spoke about the cost of groceries, the cost of rent, the cost of Con Ed, the cost of childcare. And too often politicians are looking to lecture to New Yorkers what they should care about as opposed to listen. And when we spoke to those voters who voted for President Trump, we heard them speak about cost of living. We focus on that same cost of living, and that's where I am really looking forward to delivering for New Yorkers in partnership with the president on the affordability agenda.
And I think we have to work a little bit. We talked about Con Edison. We have to work a little bit on getting the prices because, we've gotten fuel prices way down, but it hasn't shown up in Con Edison. And we're going to have to talk to them. If we're sending them fuel at a much lower price than it was a year ago, which is true, we have to get Con Edison to start lowering their rates.
Absolutely.
And if I may, last week you told me you were pushing ahead with your plans to sue BBC for up to $5 billion. You're going to speak to Prime Minister Starmer as well. Is there any progress or any updates on those issues?
Well, we get along very well with the Prime Minister. We made a deal with UK. I like him. He's a fine person, and I think they have some big energy problems. They've got windmills all over the place. They're going to have to start using other methods because their energy is out of control. Talking about in the UK, it's out of control, and he's got that problem. He's got a big immigration problem, as you know, and he's got a big energy problem. And we talk about it. He's a good man. Prime Minister's a good man.
You had a chance to speak this week.
I haven't spoken this week.
Mr. President, have you spoken to President Zelensky, or do you intend to
Who?
speak to President Zelensky about your plan as a leader?
I've spoken with their people. We have a plan. It's horrible what's happening. It's a war that should have never happened. It would have never happened if I was president, and it's a shame. And I thought they should have acted quicker.
Yeah.
But it's a cold winter, and a lot of the you talk about utilities, but a lot of the big energy-producing plants have been under attack, to put it mildly, to put it nicely. We have a way of getting peace, or we think we have a way of getting peace. He's going to have to approve it.
He's trying to force a deal here, which I
Just
find
so sad. So many people. Last month they lost 25,000 soldiers. This is something we haven't seen anything like this since the Second World War. And they're averaging 6,000 or 7,000 a week between the two of them.
Is that true?
Dead soldiers, and it goes on and on. And I think they're getting reasonably close, but I don't want to predict. I would have said that would have been one of my early ones. I did 8 peace deals of countries, including in India, Pakistan. You could even go, in fact, they're coming here in a week or two, go to the Congo and Rwanda. That was 10 million people dead.
Yeah.
And we worked something out on that, but so many. And the one I thought would have been, for me, because I have a very good relationship with President Putin, I thought that would have been maybe quicker. But it does take 2 to tango. And now you just see all the death. And, it doesn't affect us other than the fact that we don't want to see all those people that really, it's on the other side of the ocean. It's a war that should have never happened. It did happen. I blame the person also sitting right behind this desk this is a war that
Joe
should have
Biden.
never happened, and it wouldn't have happened if I were president. But we're trying to save a lot of lives. They're losing 25. Think of that, 25,000 lives over the last short period of time. That's Ukrainian and Russian, and it's a shame.
What happens if President? I want to ask the mayor-elect about a House resolution just passed overwhelmingly to condemn socialism.
Who cares?
Including with 86
That was so
Democrats,
stupid.
All of House Dem leadership and the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries, despite his endorsement of you. What's your reaction to that?
I have to be honest with you, I focused very little on resolutions. Frankly, I've been focusing. I understand. I think the focus is on the work at hand. I can tell you I am someone who is a democratic socialist. I've been very open about that. And I know there might be differences about ideology, but the place of agreement is the work that needs to be done to make New York City affordable. That's what I look forward to.
And I want to clarify your answer to Stephen Nelson. He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist. And your answer was,
The bait is
well,
real.
President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say yes.
Okay.
It's easier.
Trump bailed him out.
It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
Trump
And
bailed him out.
I wanted to ask you also about this Ukraine plan.
Yeah.
President Zelensky said
Trump
today
bailed him
that
out.
his country would risk either giving up a partner or giving up its dignity. There's been criticism that this deal...
You mean he doesn't like it?
It's unclear. He was sort of
Well,
pretending...
he'll have to like it. And if
I was cleaning up my wallet because I lost my business credit card, so I don't know where it is. So that's what I was doing off stream there, trying to find my credit card.
at some point he's going to have to accept something. You know, he hasn't accepted. You remember right in the Oval Office
I usually
not so
leave it right on
long
my
ago.
desk. I have $1 though.
I said, you don't have the cards. Don't forget, I inherited this war. I would have never, this war never would have happened. I inherited this war. And I thought he should have made a deal a year ago,
Yeah.
2 years ago. The ultimate deal would have been if it never started. That would have been the good deal. That could have been done too if you had the right president, but you didn't have the right president.
Mr. President, cost of living is something that you and Mr. Mamdani seem to agree on.
Right.
Democrats have run New York City for a long time, Mr. Mamdani. Do you see Democrat policy specifically as being a problem? And I'd like that to be a question that both of you could answer in New York City.
Look, I think that there are many things in our city where we have to own the responsibility of it, things that existed long before the president was the president. And those are also part of the message of our campaign, was to take on a broken politics of the past. And I ran against a number of candidates who represented different versions of...
All ones looks like my wallet. Yep, that's right. The big bills get lost in the wash when my wife does the wash, and I always end up with all the singles.
That past.
I think there's a
And what we
fiver in
found
there.
time and again is that working people were left behind in the politics of our city. And what we're looking to do is put those people right back at the heart of our politics so that we don't have a situation where we're in the wealthiest city in the history of the world, and yet 1 in 5 can't even afford $2.90 for a Metro card.
Mr. President,
You know, we had some interesting conversation, and some of his ideas really are the same ideas that I have. But a big thing on cost, you know, the new word is affordability. Another word is just groceries. You know, it's sort of an old-fashioned word, but it's very accurate. And they're coming down high. They were, you know, we had, both of us, we had the highest inflation in the history of our country the last 4 years under the Biden administration. And we've got inflation down now to a normal number. It's going to go even a little bit lower than that. Katie, do you have something in a bit?
Mr. President, thank you so much. Mr. Mamdani often talks about New York City being covered by international law, that they will follow international law. He doesn't often talk about the U.S. Constitution. What is your response to that?
Well, I don't know what you're referring to in terms of it could be covered by international law, local law. It's covered by a lot of laws, but it's covered by U.S. law. Are you referring to anything in particular?
He just says that they're a city that endorses and enforces international law. Is that at odds with?
No, I don't know. Would you want to respond to
Yeah, I think what I've shared with the president is our desire to not only follow the laws of our own city, laws that protect New Yorkers, but also a desire for consistency in our politics across the board. And that's something that we've talked about and something that I know many New Yorkers want.
We were with ICE.
We discussed ICE and New York City, and I spoke about how the laws that we have in New York City allow for New York City government to speak to the federal administration for about 170 serious crimes. The concerns that many New Yorkers have are around the enforcement of immigration laws on New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs, and most recently we're talking about a mother and her 2 children, how this has very little to do with what that is.
What we did is we discussed crime. More than ICE per se, we discussed crime. And he doesn't want to see crime, and I don't want to see crime. And I have very little doubt that we're not going to get along on that issue. He wants to, and he said some things that were very interesting as to housing construction, and he wants to see houses go up. He wants to see a lot of houses created, a lot of apartments built, etc. And you know, we actually people would be shocked, but I want to see the same thing.
Mr. Montgomery, the anti-Israel protesters.
Jack?
Mr. President, I want to know one of the policies as well that Mayor-elect Mamdani talked a number of times about on the campaign was shifting the tax burden for property taxes from what he called minority communities to white-based communities and putting more taxes on white people. I that in your acceptance speech you didn't mention anything about America or Christians or white people.
Look how buddy they are now.
I didn't know if that was one of the policies that you guys had spoken about.
We focused on affordability. We focused on the cost of living crisis. What I will say is that I am very much interested in property tax reform, because what we see right now in New York City is a system that is so inequitable that it can't even stand up in court. And the president and I spoke about the importance of not only building more housing, but also making sure that regulation of housing is something that is manageable to actually get through and not the cause of yet another weight that we see in our city.
To be clear, you're continuing this idea of race-based property taxes.
No, to be very clear, no, the use of the term was a description of neighborhoods, not a description of intent.
So you intend to tax the whiter neighborhoods more?
No, we intend to create a fair property tax system because we want a New York City that is not only fair and equitable, but also one that every New Yorker can afford.
Please, go ahead.
Mr. Mamdani, anti-Israel protesters just targeted a synagogue in New York. Are you concerned about Jewish New Yorkers feeling welcome and safe in the city? And President Trump, you threatened to cut off federal funding to New York City. What policies would prompt you to do that? Would that be city-run grocery stores? Would it be something else?
Well, I think if we didn't get along, whether it's cut off or just make it a little bit difficult or not give as much, we want to see, I use the term, we don't want good money going after bad. And we don't want that to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I did say that, you know, subject to what policies are being set. We had a meeting today that actually surprised me. He wants to see no crime.
Oh, Mamdani got totally cocked. He got totally cocked.
Down all things that I agree with. Now, we may disagree how we get there. The rent coming down, I think one of the things I really gleaned very much today, he'd like to see him come down, ideally, by building a lot of additional housing. Yeah. That's the ultimate way. He agrees with that, and so do I. But if I read the newspapers and the stories, I don't hear that. But I heard him say it today, and I think that's a very positive step. No, I don't expect. I expect to be helping him, not hurting him. A big help, because I want New York City to be great. Look, I love New York City. It's where I come from. I spent a lot of years there. Now I'm right here. We took a big setback with the mayor that we had, Dave de Blasio. I thought it was a tremendous setback for the city. I think this mayor can do some things that are going to be really great.
Mr. President.
Okay, how about you? Go ahead, please.
You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays than you used to, but you used to call New York City home. Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. Whoa. Especially after the meeting. Absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job. You know, he may have different views, but in many ways, you know, we were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea, because he was strong on not getting ripped off in trade and lots of the things that I've practiced and been very successful on. Tariffs, a lot of things. Bernie Sanders and I agreed on much more than people thought. And when he was put out of the race, I think quite unfairly, if you want to know the truth, many of the Bernie Sanders voters voted for me. And I felt very comfortable, frankly, in seeing that and saying that. And, you know, it just turned out to be a statistical truth. But, no, I feel very comfortable. I would feel very, very comfortable being in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question for you, but a very quick one for the mayor. Why did you fly here? Aren't trains greener?
I'll use every form of transit, and I want to make sure that they're all affordable in New York City, and that's why making buses fast and free is a centerpiece of our campaign.
There is a bus that goes.
Well, but I know, but if he flew, that's a lot quicker too. You know, I mean, he's working very hard.
Look
for
at
him
Trump.
to be.
Look at
That's a
Trump.
long. That's a
Trump's
very.
totally bringing him to
That's
heel.
a very long drive. I'll stick up for you. You know, the plane takes you 30 minutes, and driving takes you a
And
long
Mr.
time.
President, I was wondering if you could clear up some confusion around a Washington Post report. There was this explosive report that the Coast Guard is no longer going to characterize swastikas and nooses as hate symbols. DHS called that a lie and fake news. Can you clear up?
I don't know anything about it. When was this written?
I think yesterday.
Well, look, the Coast Guard's an incredible group of people. I know them very well. We just ordered a lot of new Coast Guard cutters. Beautiful, the most magnificent ship. They look like yachts with lots of guns on them. So I don't know. I haven't seen any report like that, but certainly we want them to remain a great force, and they are.
Mr. President, and you did a piece in all the 9 months around the world. I would like to ask Mr. Mamdani, you've accused the U.S. government of committing genocide in Gaza while President Trump was working on peace. Why that?
I've spoken about the Israeli government committing genocide, and I've spoken about our government funding it. And I shared with the president in our meeting about the concern that many New Yorkers have of wanting their tax dollars
Wow, is he
to go
backing
towards
it
the
off?
benefit of New Yorkers and their ability to afford basic dignity. And what we see right now is we're in the 9th consecutive year of more than 100,000 school children being homeless in our city. And there's a desperate need not only for the following of human rights, but also the following through on the promises we've made New Yorkers. And I appreciated the meeting we had and the work that we can do.
Do you agree that President Trump did do a peace and work hard to make the peace? Because he worked hard to do the peace in the Middle East and everywhere. Do you agree with that?
I appreciate all efforts towards peace, and I shared with President Trump that when I spoke to Trump voters on Hillside Avenue, including one of whom was a pharmacist that spoke about how President Trump's father actually went to that pharmacy not too far from Jamaica Estates, that people were tired of seeing our tax dollars fund endless wars. And I also believe that we have to follow through on the international human rights, and I know that still today those are being violated, and that continues to be work that has to be done no matter where we're speaking of.
He sounds like a Republican.
Mr. President, do you view the mayor-elect as the true leader of the Democrat Party? And do you think Leader Schumer's and Leader Jeffries, have to follow his lead?
Well, look, I hope they have great leaders. This is a man that right now I think is focused on New York City. I really think he has a chance to do a great job. We're going to help him, but I really think he has a chance to do a great job. But I'll let you answer that. You consider yourself the leader of the Democrats? I think it's more appropriate for him.
Look at Trump.
I consider myself the next mayor of New York City, and I keep my horizons.
Trump is sunning. Have you noticed that Trump is sunning him here? Mamdani's got to stand. He's like slapping him on the shoulder. He's protecting him. He's sunning him.
Big deal.
Absolutely.
I always said, one of the things I would love to be someday is the mayor of New York City. Being the mayor of New York, and especially now, because I think you're at really a turning point, one way or the other. It could go great, or it can go in a different direction. And I think you really have a chance to make it great. I appreciate what you're saying.
Mr. President, you say you love New York City.
There he got him again. See?
You love President Trump?
New York City loves a future that is affordable. And I can tell you that there were more New Yorkers who voted for President Trump in the most recent presidential election because of that focus on cost of living. And I'm looking forward to working together to deliver on that affordability agenda.
I got a lot of votes. One more. Go ahead. One or two more. Go ahead.
I love him.
I tell you, the press has eaten this thing up. I've had a lot of meetings with the heads of major countries. Nobody cared. This meeting that you people have gone crazy. Outside you have hundreds of people waiting. This is just a small little group. For some reason, the press has found this to be a very interesting meeting. The biggest people in the world, they come over from countries nobody cares. But they did care about this meeting, and it was a great meeting. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. President, I was going to ask you exactly that. Why do you think there's so much more, so much excitement around this than in some form?
Because I think he's different. All right? I think he's different, and that can be in a very positive way, but I think he's different than, your typical guy, runs, wins, becomes mayor maybe, and nothing exciting. because he has a chance to really do something great for New York. New York is at a very critical point, and he does need to help
Trump
the federal
is
government
obviously
to
really loyal to
succeed.
New York too, so
We're
I
gonna
think
be
he
helping
wants
him.
to.
But he's different than your average candidate. Hey, he came out of nowhere. I said he has a great campaign manager standing over there. He came out of nowhere. Would you start off at 1 or 2, and then I watched. I said, "Who is this guy?" He was at 1, then he was at 3, then he was at 5, then he was at 9. Then he went up to 17. I said, let's get a little bit interesting, right? And then all of a sudden he wins a primary that nobody expected he was going to win. It's a great.
Well, it's because he ran against losers.
It's an amazing thing that he did.
And I'll just add one thing to what the president said. Is one thing I also appreciated is in our meeting to appreciate a portrait of FDR and the incredible work that was done with the New Deal, and also in thinking about what it can look like when the federal government and New York City government work together to deliver on affordability. It can be transformative.
We have a great portrait of FDR that I found in the vaults that was missing for years. I found it, and I put it up. He's a Democrat, to the best of my knowledge. He's a Democrat. And when the mayor saw that portrait, he said, "Sir, do you mind if I have a picture taken by that portrait?" It's an amazing portrait. I hope the picture comes out good. But it's an amazing portrait in the cabinet room. So he's a big fan of the New Deal, I guess, and of FDR.
This is a bromance.
You said that you both spoke about crime.
Yeah.
There are many police officers.
FDR was kind of a shitty president, if I remember right.
New York City. Are you going to allow those police to be replaced with police officers, actual cops? And are you going to require that happens? Would there be some consequences?
Well, I hope it happens, but again, that's going to be ultimately the mayor's decision.
I don't know that the mayor even decides
that.
that.
I look forward to delivering public safety with the NYPD, and I've said over the course of our campaign that we have the number of police officers today. They are the ones that's budgeted about 35,000 headcount. And I think the key thing is that we have to make it easier for police to focus on police work, not ask them to respond to 200,000 mental health calls a year.
So is that a reduction from what you're at right now? Or are you committing to maintaining the same
Mamdani has
level?
basically backed off every
I've committed
major.
over the course of the campaign to maintain the 35,000. That's the headcount that we had through the campaign.
And not replace them with caseworkers, social work.
No, I've said that's the headcount that we want. What we need to do is make sure they can focus on serious crime.
So he's backed off everything.
By
the way.
Right?
Yes, we did, Commissioner Fish.
If the newspapers are correct.
That one they're correct about.
He retained, I think, somebody that is she's a good friend of some of the people in my family, of Ivanka, and they say she's really good, really competent, and he just retained her, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, he's probably just lying. That's probably true. There should probably be 50,000 cops in New York.
We'll probably come to a conclusion, and ultimately he'll convince me, or I'll convince him. It's for the good of New York. Ultimately, it's for the good of New York. I don't care about affiliations or parties or anything else. I want to see if this city could be unbelievable. If he could be a spectacular success, I'd be very happy.
Do you think you guys will meet more in the future too?
Excuse me?
Do you think you'll meet again in the future? Throughout the administration?
I think we will. I think we will. I hope we do. I enjoyed the meeting. We had a great meeting. Please.
Mr. President, Republican Elise Stefanik has campaigned multiple times by calling Zohran Mamdani a jihadist. Do you think you're standing next to a jihadist right now in the Oval Office?
No, I don't, but she's out there campaigning, and
you say stuff when you campaign.
You say things sometimes in a campaign.
Yep.
Isn't that sort of
She's a very capable person.
Well played, Trump. Well played. Well played. Well played.
About that, but no, I don't particularly. I think I met with I met with a man who's a very rational person. I met with a man who really wants to see New York be great again, and I can say again, because New York was great. When I came down to Washington initially, the city was so hot; it was doing great. We were having some telltale signs of problems. We had a mayor that was not doing a great job, but still, it was moving along, and it went bad. It really went, pretty bad. And I think it's been at lower points, but it went pretty bad. I think he can bring it back. Now, the question is, will he bring it back all the way? Will he bring it back greater than ever before, which is, I guarantee, that's his wish. I think he wants to make it greater than ever before. And if he can, we'll be out there cheering. I'll be cheering for him. Thank you very much, everybody.
Trump's setting him up, by the way. Trump is setting him up here by by basically being like, oh yeah, I want him to succeed, because when he doesn't, and he won't, he'll be able to roast him. A quick word from Morgan & Morgan. If you're in an accident or injured in any way, you should know how to protect your rights. That's why I'm so glad to have this video sponsor Morgan & Morgan. When you're seriously hurt, your injury could be worth millions of dollars. Morgan & Morgan doesn't settle for lowball offers. Just in the past couple of months, Morgan & Morgan saw verdicts of $12 million in Florida, 34 times the highest insurance offer, $26 million in Philadelphia, 40 times the highest insurance offer, and $6.8 million in New York, 25 times the highest insurance offer. Their fee is absolutely free unless you win. Fighting big companies takes a big law firm. As America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan are ready to take on insurance companies of all sizes. Morgan & Morgan has modernized the injury law process so you can submit a claim and communicate with your legal team all from your smartphone. And remember, size matters. Morgan & Morgan is big. They're America's largest injury law firm. That means they have the resources to fight to get you the best results, and they're capable of spending millions on a case to see it through. Did you know you can start a claim with America's largest injury law firm in just one click? It's so easy. You can start your claim now with Morgan & Morgan at www.forthepeople.com/quartering or click the link in the description down below. And I'm back. Yeah, I mean, I did not have the Trump Mom Donnie bromance on my bingo card. Just didn't have it. I guess I'm going to soft launch my announcement now and let you guys, have a wonderful weekend. I'll be streaming on Saturday and Sunday too. So we were invited out to Amfest. And what I'm trying to do is bring the whole crew on the road so we can go, and we're going to be live from Amfest on Wednesday is questionable because we'll still be setting up, but Thursday and Friday, as well as Saturday, we'll be live from Amfest. Hannah Claire, Melanie Mack, Luke, and myself in our regular time slot. What I'm hoping to do is figure out a way to have you guys, or have, everyone, hopefully be able to maybe help, maybe help a brother out. It's very expensive to move a whole team out there, and I'm not Tim Pool. So on this Friday, what I'm hoping is that I put up a link I'm still trying to finish it, but I think it works. I'll do a bigger, harder launch on Monday when we have everyone here. But I'm trying to, get Hannah Claire, Melanie, Luke, myself, all out there. I bought the equipment so that we could do our show live. I want to be able to interview like Russell Brand, Jack Posobiec. Hannah Claire is working on setting up all the interviews that you guys might want. But we could use your help. So I put together a little crowdfunder on the quartering.com/Amfest, where you can get a custom shout out. You can get a shout out and a signed Christmas card. So we're going to take a picture together there, and I will have everyone sign the card, and we'll send it to you for Christmas. And those will be signed and numbered. So there'll probably only be 200 of those ever. Or you can get the Christmas card and an annual membership in the Quartering members only Discord at the $100 tier. A yearly membership on the Quartering is like, $80 alone. So you get that, and then you get the Christmas card, and you get the custom shout out as well. If you're not in a position to, believe me, I know a lot of people aren't right now. I totally understand. We also added you guys that wanted a whale tier. So We'll see. I'll let you know if anyone actually does this. I think it's going to cost about $14,000 for everybody to get out there, for the equipment, for the banners we have to print. We're working on banners right now. We're having those printed. I bought the equipment last night. It's starting to come in. I paid for the hotel last night, which was almost $6,000 for 4 hotel rooms at the last minute in downtown Phoenix when there's a convention going on. And the plane tickets I'm doing today. So I'm hoping I can offset some of it. So if you want to see us go out to Amfest live and host from there, and also, let us know who you want us to interview, you can just go to thequartering.com/Amfest, scroll down, and contribute there. It would be incredible and then you just pick, your whatever you want there. It would be, obviously I know everything's tight right now. So if you're not in a position to, don't feel bad. But if you want to help us do this, I would be eternally thankful. And then we would also have all the equipment to do more live events. So we would have all the equipment to host our show live from any other convention. So we could actually go out there and meet you guys. So it would be really awesome. And then you just tune in like normal, right? So we'll be live at 2 Eastern, Thursday and Friday, hopefully Wednesday too, depending on how quickly we can get into the building and set up. Probably won't be able to be in that early, but I'll know more sooner, or I'll know more like the week before. But Thursday, Friday, and Saturday live from Amfest. We'll have like Russell Brand. We'll get as many speakers as we can to come on the show. I'm doing some stuff with Rumble. I basically hit up everyone I could to the 5,000 is not really, I don't think anyone's actually going to take that. Maybe Zach from Meta PCs will. But would absolutely love if you're not in a position to, that's okay. But I think the Christmas card is very cool, and we'll all sign it. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. We're going to do a formal announcement kind of live on the show Monday and Tuesday. But I set this up now. For $5,000, you get Sucky Sucky, but only from Luke. That's true. That's true. So I'm really excited to have the opportunity. I mean, the booth alone at TPOSA or at Amfest is like $15,000 just to have a booth. So this is a great opportunity for us to bring in some of these other people, some of these other personalities. Maybe we can get Erica Kirk to stop by. We have full access to everybody. So I'm hoping we can just get interviews and live interviews with everybody there. And if you want to help us kind of make this dream come true, if you go to thequartering.com/Amfest and back us, that would be incredible. Does this include a happy ending? Well, if we all get there safe and we're not bankrupt for it, I thought Jeremy always talked ish about this. Why suddenly okay with it now? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Doing live shows? I don't think I've talked ish about that. So, did they really stop Tim Pool from going? I don't know anything about it. I'm just looking at it like a great opportunity for us. And I think, I don't know what happened between Tim and them. All I know is what is in Tim's video. And as far as I was told, they were still trying to work things out with Tim. And that was like yesterday. Thank you, Jay Hove or Jay Hoof for backing. I'll shut up forever in the chat if somebody buys me that card. Oh, the Christmas card? Yeah. So it'll have me, Luke, Melanie, and Hannah Claire, and I'll have everyone sign it. Hopefully we'll get it in the mail before Christmas. Have you heard from King Doug? He did email me, but, I don't want to rely on just one person. And, you never know who people are. And, if we can, I don't think we're going to raise all of it, but if we can offset some of it, that would be great. Because we'll have a lot of content there. We'll be doing more live streams. So hopefully we'll get, more super chats. We'll have more content. Hopefully that will offset some stuff. But yeah, I'm also going to be live streaming from the Rumble stage there, from Rumble Studio there. All sorts of cool stuff. I think it should be fun for you guys, a fun week of content for you. I think Jeremy said he doesn't have Amfest money in the past. Yes, that's correct. Which he still doesn't. Also correct. I mean, it's expensive, you know, like $6,000 just to put everyone up in hotels. The plane tickets will be another $2,000, $3,000. The electronics, which at least I only have to buy once, you know, that was $4,000. Obviously, like the crew's on their own for meals and stuff like that, but yeah, it's a great opportunity too. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Tim's not there, and so it'll be a great opportunity. But if you can't, you can't. I understand that. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Please consider going to thequartering.com/Amfest and supporting our journey out there. Get your shout out, get your Christmas card, or get a full annual membership to the members only area, plus everything else. I don't want to just ask for money. I want to try to give something for it. So thanks, guys. And hopefully we'll wake up Monday and we'll have a big chunk of it. Appreciate you. And